because I think his skill set,
man,
that can have other guys around him.
I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to speak my mind about this situation, but I saw like a lot of videos that people has been posting about this subject in wrestling, and the funny thing is, like last week when WWE had their show down here in Milwaukee, it was just a group of us were talking about this, and we was like back and forth of just saying that what's with this person, or just show how this person just came from something to nothing or anything like that. And what I'm going to mention is I'm going to talk about James Ellsworth, which he got his start with. He probably was like started in the independent scene and stuff like that. We'll get on to that in a minute. But what I want to talk about is like he has the fame and all that stuff. So we're gonna just talk about like how he got started in the WWE. He was just like a unknown competitor, as they would call like local jobbers, that was gonna go against Braun Strowman. And I think where it all started with is what Brian Saxon did, like a exclusive interview before the match, and for what he said, like a man that got two hands stands a fighting chance. And it's the way he said it had some fans. I don't know if it was all of them, but it had some fans brought into it, and he made it look so believable that, you know, the fans end up being behind this guy. Then fast forward to a couple months later, where he's making appearances on SmackDown, like a teaser with he's gonna be AJ Styles' tag team partner, and the matches he went against AJ Styles, and the situation that happened in Green Bay this past Tuesday. I guess they was like, okay, like this guy got the momentum, why not use him for the certain amount of time until it gets fizzled out or whatever happens. And I know some people laughing at this and joking about this and like describe on YouTube and stuff like that, because I know a lot of them ain't saying anything, but there are some people that are. And I'm just gonna say about it, but it could be positive, it could be negative, but it's up to you to think what you think I'm going to say is either positive or negative. So the first thing, he's an indies guy. How do you think like a lot of these indie guys, you know, get all these followers? Just like, for example, you know, they brought CM Punk up, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, just to name a few. You know, the fans behind him because they like, he finally made it to the WWE. And you have the followers that follow him in the past when he's down in the indie circuit. So right now they showing him as weak and stuff like that, but on the independent scene he could be like killing it down there. Who knows? Only the people that follow this guy only knows what he's capable of and how good he is or how bad he is. Who knows? Because I think we didn't fully see enough of just saying like if he's really crappy or if he's really good or anything like that. But just from what I've seen so far, he's doing pretty good and taking bumps and stuff, but except for that Styles class when that happened 3 weeks ago, with him not, you know, with tucking his head out, his head was like way down there, like too far, that AJ Styles very close to, you know, could be paralyzing this guy, but he called it the last second and kind of saved him. So I know a lot of that is going around too, where people are just saying like he sucks and it's unbelievable, like why is he getting all this popularity and things like that. So I already mentioned about him in the indie scene, and he could be popular in that area, wherever state he's from and where he's wrestling at. Because you know, like independent wrestlers wrestle more than one state, so it could be a couple other states that he was wrestling in that like, oh, I know this guy. It could be like, wow, he finally made it. Although he's just a jobber, but he was on there just for one night only. But like we were seeing, and I was saying that he was on there for more than one occasion with SmackDown, and I guess like him being in SmackDown and all the stuff that's going on there, a lot of credibility of his is starting to increase. The fans getting behind him and all this mess, and like the fans are really behind this guy. Which brings me to the second thing. He's an underdog. Rey Mysterio was an underdog. Daniel Bryan is an underdog. There's a lot of people that's probably like his height, like the shorter guys are like the underdogs, and people like underdogs. Well, I would say majority of the fans like underdogs, and some people just don't. But it's an underdog from an independent scene that you can get behind. Hey, and they got behind him so far. So what brings me to the third reason. I guess in some bold move, like last week, they decided to put him on a T-shirt and have a James Ellsworth T-shirt. I wouldn't personally buy it myself. I wouldn't. But depends on how they carry this guy, like forward on like what they're gonna do with him within the coming weeks or whenever the case may be. It all depends, but just as of now, I wouldn't buy his T-shirt or anything like that. I wouldn't do that because I'm not fully like behind this guy as of yet. Like he did some good things. No chin music, as David Otunga calls it. He did that pretty good, and AJ perfectly sold it. So he's shown that he got good moves besides like just taking a bump. So he saw a few good things. But I think what people will want to see to fully get behind this guy, they want to see more. Not just like more of him, but like him like in an actual, match with no interference or one-on-one, just like I said, just a regular match. Not like him getting like pulverized in a squash match like with Braun Strowman or something like that. Just something like a little bit more out of him. Like, he's a decent talker in my opinion. He's a decent talker. Decent on the mic. He's not horrible or anything like that on the mic. He's decent on the mic. Not saying he's totally good, but he's definitely not bad on the mic. So, I guess what the pondering thing is, because I know like there are some people, like I was saying earlier, there are some people that's like, why in the world is this guy is up there with the crowd, and he's then the thing is just like I mentioned those things, but also with the T-shirts that WWE is selling right now, he's the #1 selling merch in the WWE. And if y'all catch up with any of my videos in the past, that's got to be one of the few things you got to do to be successful as a wrestler, as sell a lot of merch And I'll say he has a little bit of charisma. I wouldn't say he has a big charisma, but he got a little bit of charisma. So he kind of got 3 out of 4 things. He may not have the wrestling look, but right now he has 3 things that qualify for him to be like a big success in the wrestling business. Although there's a few more that needs to go, but right now we don't know how far this kid's career is going to go. We don't know if he's going to be signed full-time, part-time, and stuff like that. We don't know. But I am glad that a few of my friends that was in Green Bay this past Tuesday got a photo with him. So, good for you guys. It's just mainly like I get why people are not behind him and that there are fans that are. It's just some things you just don't get sick or tired of seeing right away, and James Ellsworth is one of them. Like I said, I'm not debating on you should hate this guy. I'm not debating on you should like this guy, but it is your opinion. Because right now WWE don't have much of a label on him, as this guy just come out of nowhere with the 3 things that I was talking about. Well, the first 2 things that I was talking about, the little bit of a charisma and decent on the mic, and most likely can take a hit. I should say 4, but you get what I'm saying. But my point is, with a lot of independent stars coming up in the wrestling business, you know, they coming from Ring of Honor or some wrestling places down here in Milwaukee, or some places in Illinois, or places in Idaho and in New York, California, and things like that. This kind of shows that independent wrestling do matter if done right. But the point is, I'm not on the bandwagon of James Ellsworth. I'm not hating the guy. Right now I'm just keeping it down the middle, just keeping it neutral. So this ain't no rant or anything like that. Like I said, I'm not hating on the guy or anything, and I'm not behind the guy as of yet. But he kind of proves that, you know, anybody can make it in the WWE if they have a few of the things that they need to do to be successful in the wrestling business. So I'm just going to leave this off with, like, if they do more with this guy, then it'll be the real test of seeing if we're going to stay behind this guy or not. Because right now, the ride is good, and I know he's probably collecting that money, that all them t-shirts that he's been selling. Because like I say, he's the #1 merchandise seller out of everybody else. And the sad thing is like, Goldberg has the t-shirt out, but he didn't promote it correctly. All thing he had was his jacket on, and you know, he had like a t-shirt or something that he was selling to promote his t-shirt. He didn't do a good job of it because he had that big coat on. So it could have been Goldberg that could have been the #1 merchandise seller if it would have done right, but it didn't. But everybody loves to get on the James Ellsworth fan. Why not? Let him. It's not killing anybody or it's not hurting anybody. Does he have any of the championship titles yet? No. Is he benefiting from the TV time that he's getting so far? Yes. The point is, just let it happen. If it's gonna die down soon, it'll die down soon. And WWE probably would know when the right time to pull the plug. But right now, don't pull the plug. Just see how it goes. But I also want to hear from some of you, like y'all feedbacks and things like that. So just Let me know what y'all think about James Ellsworth. Do you like him, dislike him, or wherever the case may be? So just let me know.